What's going on, people, and welcome to another top 10 today, and it is my Premier League all-time captains top 10. Thank you for everyone that voted in the community tab. As always, I will put the next lot of votes up in the community tab, so you can go there and check it out and pick who you want to see next for the top 10. I will also be releasing on Thursday a European away kit leak video ranking, so the ones that have been released and leaked so far, I will be ranking them, so for European away kits, so look out for that dropping on Thursday. And I hope you enjoy my list. Premier League all-time captains. I thought when I put this in the poll with the others that it would probably be this one that won, and it was by far, I think it was like 90% or something in the end, or 95% that voted for this. So appreciate everyone that voted. I think I had like 9 votes, which I think is the most my tabs and polls have ever had. So appreciate everyone that got involved, and hopefully you can come and get involved on the next one as well. So get voting on the next one, guys, as well. And let's get into it. At number 10, we've got the late, great Gary Speed. Obviously, it's a shame what happened to him in his personal life and how it ended for him. It's never easy to know and hear and see that sort of thing, like knowing what happened to him. But I know for a fact that a lot of Welsh people feel like he was a massive part to play in that Wales team in terms of playing and as a manager. And he was kind of like the starting point for how well they're doing nowadays. It was always respected as a player. It was a natural leader on the pitch. People looked up to him. He captained Newcastle. He captained Bolton. And obviously he was at Leeds as well. A natural leader, and one that always never really had a bad game, to be honest, from what I remember of him. Doesn't always get spoken about because he wasn't at the likes of a United or a Liverpool. A great player. One, as I said, it's a shame how his life ended, but one that is fondly remembered and respected in football history, and especially in England in the Premier League era. And a great player and a great manager. So Gary Speed, number 10. Number 9, we've got Alan Shearer. I don't know if a lot of people have Alan on their captains lists because you just think of him as a goal scorer, but I think he was a good captain in terms of his leadership, inspiring others on the field to up their level to try and match him. And again, another one that rarely had a bad game. His goal scoring record speaks for itself, still the all-time Premier League top scorer. And then he did it at a team like Newcastle, who now have the money, but never did up to this point until recently. He had the chance to sign for United. He was almost putting pen to paper on that, and then he went to Newcastle. A player that stayed loyal. He's fondly looked upon in Newcastle, and rightly so. And his goal scoring record speaks for itself. Another one that should have won something with England because he was that good and such a high quality player. But a great leader as well, and a great captain for England as well in his time. So Alan Shearer, number 9. Number 8, Azpilicueta. The guy is still going. He's been there for donkey's years now at Chelsea. He's won most trophies there that is possible. And as I said, he's still going. Pretty much won every trophy you can at domestic level, and then obviously the Champions League. Just another leader that you need in your team. He's not the most flair type player, but he's got quality, and he can pick out a pass, he can get assists, he can score goals, he can get up top and score goals like out of position at times in the box. And just a natural leader that you can have your flair players, but you need people like Azpilicueta in your team to do the donkey work and do the hard graft. And he's also got quality as well, so has to make the list. Azpilicueta, number 8. Number 7, we've got Tony Adams. Great captain for Arsenal in his time and for England. Obviously had his problems off the field. He was before Vieira, obviously, in terms of the captaincy role at Arsenal. Played with Vieira as well, but he was the captain when Vieira first came in. And as I said, you need them characters in your dressing room and them leaders, and that's what Tony Adams was. Another one, like Shearer, that probably should have won something with his country, but won a lot of stuff with Arsenal and was loyal to them, as I said, stayed there his whole career. And a great leader, great captain, has to make the list. Number 7. Number 6, Vincent Kompany. Recently just took over in charge at Burnley. I'm fascinated to see how he does there. I think it's brave, it's bold. I like the fact that he's not just gone to an Anderlecht where he played a lot of his career, because that would have been an easier job because they dominate their league. Going to Burnley is more of a challenge, and I think it's a good way for him to learn as well and get that portfolio of experience. So I'm intrigued to see how he does with that, but obviously the captain when they went and won their first title. You need them characters again. You need them characters, and he was one that could be a leader. He was quality on the ball, and he did all the work off it, the hard work, the hard graft, and he led people on the pitch. And you can't go into battle and win a war or a fight or a battle if you haven't got the right captain, in my opinion. And he was another one. But being part of the City team for so long that won so much, and they're still doing it now, even though he's gone, he was there from the get-go when they started to change it around. So has to make the list, and he makes it in at number 6. Number 5, Nemanja Vidic. A guy that, similar to John Terry, would put his head where others wouldn't even put their feet. Was never fearful, never scared. He wasn't afraid to tell people. He was very vocal. Probably not as technical on the ball as your likes of like a Rio Ferdinand. In terms of just being a defender first and foremost, and being hard to get round and past, and just strong, and he can be like dirty. He's your man. Won a lot with United. I remember Ferdinand said something that when he first came in, I think he said that him and Scholes in training were looking at Vidic and thinking, who's this joker? Like, he's not going to cut it. And then he goes on to be the captain, lead the team, and do what they did under Ferguson with Vidic as captain and leading them. You can't do that if you're a poor player. And as I said, he won a lot with United. I think he's a very underrated player. And I actually preferred him to Rio Ferdinand. A lot of people prefer Ferdinand, but I prefer my defenders to defend first, rather than just be easy on the eye, good at passing and technical. I think it's important to have that, especially in the modern day era. But still, I want my centre-backs to defend first and foremost before anything else. And I think this guy gives you that in trumps. So, Vidic, number 5. Number 4, Liverpool legend, Liverpool icon, Steven Gerrard. He's done it countless times in terms of pulling his teams back in games that you think they've got no right to come back in. The likes of the West Ham game in the FA Cup, and also the Champions League in Istanbul against AC Milan. Gets that first goal back, drives his team forward, and they go on to do what they do in the penalty shootout. If you haven't got that captain there, and Gerrard playing in that game, them comebacks don't happen. The goal against Olympiacos in the Champions League as well, another one that should have won something with his country. Quality player, and people speak about him a lot in terms of in training and stuff, how good he was, and the expectations and standards he set, and he expected newcomers into the team, whether it was for country or club, that he expects you to meet. And if you're not on it, he's going to tell you about it. And I love it about him. I love him what he's doing as a manager. I love his confidence, and I love how he is just more of your old school, old-fashioned, honest, blunt, but fair. And he won't cut corners. He won't sugarcoat stuff. And I love him. And I miss watching him play. One of my favourite ever players to watch, Steven Gerrard, number 4. Number 3, Patrick Vieira. I spoke about him numerous times on my videos against Keane, the Arsenal United thing. He was just a natural leader anyway. Even if that didn't happen against United, he would have still been their captain for Arsenal. He would have still had the moments in Premier League history that he's had in terms of goals, leadership, trophies. He was in the Invincible team as well, involved in so much of their success that you can't hide away from it. And for a guy that was built more like a basketball player, he was ridiculously good technically with the ball, very quick for his size. The technique he had, as I said, the control, he glided across the pitch, but he also had that nasty side to him. You want him in your team if you're going to go into battle. Simple as that. Patrick Vieira, number 3. Number 2, John Terry. I don't think people give Terry the credit he deserves. For me, he's the best ever centre-back in the Premier League, easily for me. Brave, puts his head where people wouldn't even put their feet. Do you remember he got knocked out as well? I think it was for England, doing that sort of thing, putting his head into dangerous areas to clear stuff and block stuff. No fear at all. Vocal, led by example in terms of his game performance. Positionally, very good, very clever, very good on the ball. I always say that I feel like he was very underrated with his technical ability on the ball. And then off the ball, I think he was even better than when he was on the ball. But he was that good of a defender, and hard to get around and beat, and strong, quick as well. I think his pace was underrated, and his headers as well. The amount of headers he scored, that he'd score against opponents that were even taller than him, that were marking him because he had a good leap, and just that willpower to win the ball and want to win the ball more than the opposing player and the marker. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So Again, another one that should have won something with England. He's the best captain in terms for England I've ever seen, in my opinion. I'd probably put Beckham up there with that for England in terms of the captaincy, but I think Terry was more of a natural leader in terms of the vocal side of it and all-round leadership. I think Beckham led a little bit more by example and not shouting as much, but Terry had that plus the vocal side of it, and he could lead by example too. So John Terry won countless things with Chelsea as well. Has to make the list. Makes it in at number 2. And then number 1 for this week, guys, who else can I have? And I love him now even as a pundit because he's blunt, he's honest, he don't sugarcoat. He gets a lot of stick for it, but I think there needs to be more people like this in the world, and it's Roy Keane. The battles with Arsenal, Vieira, his honesty in interviews, the stuff with Mick McCarthy in Ireland for the World Cup that got him sent home. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind against Ferguson. They still don't talk to this day because of it. And you need them characters. Again, Ferguson can't, I don't think he can go on and do what he did at United without Keane as a captain for most of them years. It's not a coincidence, I don't think, that they won all that with your leader, who that leader is. And that leader was Roy Keane. Brave, didn't care if he broke a bone in a tackle or nothing, because he had the will to win that ball and get his team trophies and get his team the 3 points and get his team the W. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I think he was very underrated as a player on the ball as well. I think he was very underrated as a goal scorer, especially in his earlier years. He was more of a box-to-box. He'd get forward a lot more. And then later on in his career, he sat back and did that holding role like he'd been doing it all his life as well, and still went on to win stuff. So for me, a very well-rounded player, a very underrated player in terms of his footballing ability. A lot of people thinking of him and remember him for his aggressiveness, the Haaland incident as well. I love that about him. Not that he's really injured someone, but the fact that he's not scared to put his foot in, the fact that he doesn't care about the backlash. He wants to go on that pitch and get the 3 points, whatever it takes. And you need that mentality in life, no matter what it is, to be successful. And for me, I don't think there's ever been a better captain than him because of that. I think on the list I've done, Terry was close, but I don't think there's anyone close on this list. I mean, Terry was the closest, I should say. But even Terry, I don't think even matches up to Keane in terms of his will to win and will to let his teammates have it and not shy away from giving his team stick and his teammates stick and putting at risk, because he didn't care about friendships. He's not there to be your friend as a captain. He's there. Like he said, he could have a laugh off the pitch, he could do the banter. But when it was time to focus and time to win games, he doesn't care if he's never your friend. He doesn't care if he plays with you your whole career and you don't like him, as long as you're winning and getting results. And you need that. You can't be best friends with someone if you're not successful on the pitch, and then just like you might find people like that, but you're not going to win as much or be capable and have the potential of stuff you could win when you just want to be people's best mates rather than just be successful and have them respect you first and then maybe create a friendship and a bond. That's what I loved about him, and he's sorely missed. I love him as a pundit now. He's very honest and brutal and blunt, and for me, he's the best ever Premier League captain. That is my Premier League all-time top 10 captains, guys. Let me know yours in the comments. Before I go, the new target is 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of December. We will get there. I've got it in my head. We will achieve it. I can only achieve it with you, though, guys, so I need your help. Make sure you're subscribed and the notification bell is on, and I'll see you in the next one.